forgetting poker for a minute, right? Everything you just said, I mean, especially the second half of what you just said, is very much something that a person who's self-employed has to consistently, you have to consistently self-educate, learn new, like you need to learn about the new things that WordPress is using if you're using WordPress, and you need to learn about the new technology or whatever, and you also need to constantly be accepting the fact that there's going to be good months where, you know, you might have like a consistent income from certain things, but then there are other times when, like, you know, you kind of expect sponsorship or you expect someone to be paying for this, and all of a sudden goes, listen, we had a bad month, we're not going to be able to pay you next month to do this thing, we're not going to advertise with you this coming month. And you go, and you sort of have to just lick those wounds and be like, okay, I'm gonna push through this. I'm gonna learn this lesson and move on. Yeah, I mean,
100%. 100% true, and that's obviously the difference. If you're a salaried employee, you can just come into work, do your job, clock in, clock out, or do a phenomenal job, clock in, clock out. Your money's the same at the end of the month. Maybe you'll get a bonus or something. Self-employed, yeah, absolutely. There's ebbs and flows, and I would say, like when I first started out, I didn't know what to expect. And then after a second year, I saw, I notice a pattern. These months tend to be better. Like the end of the year, November, December, it became very clear to me, advertising departments are given budgets for the year. And if they don't use their full budget, they won't get as much to work with the following year. A lot of them have money left over, and it's November, December, we're going to look for places to sponsor, so those months tend to be better. So the fact that October will never be as good is not a reflection on me, it's a reflection on this is just the natural ebbs and flows within the industry that I work. Also always just sort of learning from experiences, like, this worked, let's do more of that. This didn't work, okay, no problem. I'm glad I tried it because now I know whether it'll work or not, but don't do it again, because then it's, you won't make money from it or you won't achieve satisfaction from it. But the self-employment enables you, full freedom to basically try a whole bunch of different things. And see what works, what doesn't. But also, the typical mottos of, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I learned also very quickly to diversify. I have multiple income streams. And it's funny, that's such a cliche saying. It sounds like I'm a super multimillionaire. I'm not. I'm nowhere close. But the idea of having multiple income streams is very much like, okay, like you said, the sponsorship won't necessarily go well, but I host a podcast and that is more or less a relatively stable thing. Fine. The podcast guys dropped me. Okay, thankfully my affiliate sales of poker training courses, that's going well this month. Or, okay, these guys bought banners. You want to have a lot of different things such that, in the inevitable events, like I had the most stable thing for 4 years. I was working with an online company. Phenomenal. It was just like, I was providing let's say a particular type of service for them. And what happens is after 4 years, the most unpredictable thing, the guy who I was working with at the company, he decided to move on to a different company. And the next guy had a completely different view. And he said, well, obviously the partnership we have with you is delivering this, but that's no longer an important thing for us at our company. We want to focus on this. How about that? I said, I can't really do that for you. And, basically within the span of a couple weeks, that very stable part of the income was gone. So, and that was honestly, I would say it was tough, but I wouldn't say it was a crushing blow because I had a whole bunch of other things that I did. So then I was looking, okay, how do I replace that, so to speak, and, find another relatively stable thing. So yeah, anything can hit you anytime. But that's honestly a lot of the excitement of being self-employed. Again, when you're an employee, you say, okay, I'll make my X shekels, X dollars per month. No matter how good or bad a month is for me, there's always that, hey, next month could be amazing, which is very cool. And obviously, your back's against the wall at all times. Your feet are to the flame. Again, using a lot of cliches, but You know, if you don't perform very well, you know, my nightmare scenario at this point is I never want to have to go back to being an employee because I love this so much. That's my constant motivation every single day.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And thank you for joining us in the Doctor's Den. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.